was bluffing where you at. I came here for vengeance, watch your back. No need to defend, I'm on attack. Sorry they can't reply, but I guarantee they had a blast. Pop, 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 I be on the next to only I am fresh to death.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another solo podcast. As always, I'm Nick Bagley. This is the Long Haul Mentality, and I appreciate y'all checking in. I've gotten some great feedback on the podcast and stuff, and I truly appreciate everyone who takes their time to just shoot me a message or whatever. The biggest ask that I have for you is that if you feel the need to let me know how much you enjoy it, leave a comment on the video. That will help out a ton. The more interaction, engagement the videos get, the more it gets put into the algorithm and more people see it. Again, my push right now is trying to get watch hours. So I'm going to be making some adjustments to how often I'm putting these out. I will be trying to do at least 2 solo podcasts a week and hopefully 1 guest podcast a week. I'm not sure if I'll have a guest podcast this week because I didn't plan well, and that's on me. But I've also been trying to deal with some blood work issues that has been kind of had me kind of drained over the last month or so. So energy is relatively low, and I really have to get myself up and going in order to feel really good for these things. So I appreciate everybody, but wanted to just go ahead and let y'all know that I am going to try to do some more of these since I have gotten some really good feedback from it. And the best way to show me your support with that is to leave some comments, like the video, make sure you subscribe, share it with your friends, all that fancy stuff. Now, the topic that I want to go over today is something that I have been trying to push a number of people towards for a long period of time, and it can be a pretty hard sell to a lot of people, but it's why a 4-day wow. All right, I'm going to start that over. It's why a 4-day split is superior. I have been doing a 4-day split for 3-ish years now, maybe more than that. And switching from training 5 days a week to 4 days a week, while it doesn't seem that insane, honestly really helped me tremendously in a number of aspects. And the biggest thing is it freed up a lot of time, and it freed up a lot of recovery capacity. So I'm just going to touch on some bullet points as to why I believe that it is superior to do a 4-day split over a 5 or 6 or whatever, and see if you guys agree with me or not. And if you do agree, give it a shot. See what you think. First and foremost, recovery and recovery capacity is going to be the number one limiting factor on how much tissue you can put on. We go to the gym to break down tissue, and then we eat food, sleep, and hydrate and all that other fun stuff in order to rebuild the tissue. So going to the gym 5 days a week isn't necessarily building more muscle, right? You are creating the damage that now sends a signal to tell your body, hey, we need to repair this in order for it to be ready for the next bout of this. So when you rest more, this is where we're going to actually build the muscle. And if you're constantly just crushing yourself in the gym, not giving yourself enough time to recover, your body's not going to have the resources and time it needs to build the tissue, right? So by having 3 days out of the week where you don't have to go to the gym and just kind of let your body chill, recover that tissue, and let it go past where it was previously. Because the goal here is we break the tissue down, and then we want to rebuild it to that baseline again and then build on top of it. That is what muscle growth is. We don't just want to break it down, get it back to baseline, and then break it down again. We want it to build on top, right? So we want the body to continue to accrue more tissue. Sorry, I'm trying to plug in my laptop so this doesn't die in the middle of this. But we want the body to accrue more muscle tissue. So if you are hammering it too hard, not giving yourself adequate time to recover that tissue, you're going to play this back and forth game of digging yourself into a hole and then just filling it right back up to where you were before and then never really gaining any ground. So recovery being the first thing, you can really increase the amount of recovery capacity you have in order for you to be able to train harder and recover better. It also allows for more volume per session. So if you're going above 5 or more days a week, you are probably doing an amount of volume that is exceeding what your body can actually handle, right? You can definitely balance your volume across the training program within a 5-day split. A lot of my clients still do a 5-day split because trying to convince them to rest for a third day is sometimes very difficult. And I don't have any problems with 5 days a week, but when we have 4 days of training and I set your baseline split and we go through this thing and we get to a point, we go through X number of weeks where you've stuck to the same program, and we get to a point where we're starting to kind of spin our wheels a little bit and not necessarily making the recovery or getting the recovery that we need, trying to add more volume in, or not, back that up, get the stimulus we need, not the recovery we need, but the stimulus that we need in order to build more tissue, we're going to have to go up over time. Things are going to have to escalate. You can't just keep doing the same thing over and over. Some people can. There are people who do continue to respond to the same amount of volume for long periods of time, but a vast number of people, you're going to slowly have to scale that volume. Within 4 days a week, I can start to play around with that more and push that volume a little bit higher, and even look at adding in some intensifiers like rest pause sets, drop sets, supersets, all these different things that can drive that intensity per session a little bit higher, because 1, we have more days to recover, and 2, we have less days across the week where we now have to manage all these different areas. Because like if you're going through a program and your chest and shoulders are responding amazing, but your back and hamstrings are not. Maybe now I have to pull volume over here and push volume up over here because we want to focus more on the back and hamstrings, but then now maybe our chest and shoulders just stop growing the way we wanted them to. So with 4 days a week, it gives us a little bit more play where I can add some to just one day without having to take it away from somewhere else. And it just gives us more flexibility, so we can just kind of move things around as we need. There's a lot of freedom within a 4-day split. And one of the biggest things that I found, especially now being a single father, having lots of other responsibilities like with the coaching and all these other things that I'm doing, having that third rest day now gave me options. Right? Before it was like I only have 2 rest days. I do them Wednesdays and Sundays, and I need at least one day to chill and kind of relax. That means Wednesday is going to be absolutely stacked, and I'm going to try to get all of my errands done. I'm going to try to get all my cleaning done. I'm trying to get everything done that I need to on that one day, and then the rest of the week I'm just going to kind of scramble until Sunday comes and then finally rest. Versus now, if I have Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, as I typically run it now, I now have lots of options. I can now spread those errands out over 2 days and go, cool, well, I'm going to go grocery shopping and clean my house on this day, and then I'll do laundry and this, that, and the other on the other day, and then Sunday I'll just use as my day to chill. It gives you a lot more options as far as like being an adult of like you can go do these other things without having to worry about like, well, I got to get to the gym. Because we all know that like, yeah, sure, you go to the gym, you spend, let's say 2 hours or an hour and a half, right? So you spend an hour and a half at the gym, but you also have to get yourself ready to go to the gym. You have to like get your stuff ready to go there, your pre-workout, your intra-workout, your post-workout. You have to drive to your gym. You have to like get there, get warmed up, then start your training session, get through the training session. Then maybe you have to also do cardio. Then like you have to drive back home. So now that 1.5 hours in the gym, in order for you to go through the whole time period, is now a 3 or 4 hour thing. So there's a lot of extra things that are involved with just taking yourself to the gym beyond just the time that is actually spent lifting, right? So there's a lot of other aspects to that. So it can be overwhelming when you're trying to juggle a normal adult life. Like if you don't have the time to get all these other things done outside of your life, maybe now you start to feel like you're really imbalanced and like you don't have time to clean your house and keep things in order. Maybe you don't feel like you have time to go to the grocery store. Maybe you don't feel like you have time to spend time with friends. So like by giving yourself an extra rest day, it does allow for you to have a little bit more freedom to where you're not so locked into just going to the gym. I also really like the flexibility of the focus because we can easily modify the program for the individual on what their specific needs are. So like if you need to bring up your back. Like a lot of people really need to bring up their backs that I work with. So like we'll do a back day on Monday, we'll do a back day on Thursday, and then Tuesday will be a chest day, Wednesday will be a rest day, and then Saturday will be a leg day. Super simple, right? And you can interchange that with whatever thing it is that needs to be improved. Legs need to come up, cool. Legs on Monday, legs on Thursday. Chest needs to come up, cool. Chest on Monday, chest on Thursday. Arms, like you can spread that out across the week. There's lots of different things that we can do and really kind of play around with that alongside the other things I said earlier of like using more volume per session, using more intensifiers, allowing more recovery so that the muscle actually has time to build on top of itself in order for us to make the progress that we actually want. So it gives us a lot of flexibility. So just because we took off one day of training doesn't mean that you're now stuck to, I can only do these things. Like there's a lot of flexibility within it. And I think a lot of times people get scared of like, well, if I take my 5th day off, I'm not going to be able to focus on this. It's like, yes, you are. 1, you're going to have more recovery to be able to build that muscle that you're trying to focus on. 2, you can handle more volume during that time period. And 3, you can move that thing around however you want. You can shuffle it around. And then the other thing when it comes to like the flexibility and freedom thing is like if you're working a job alongside this other thing that you're doing, which most of you are, if all of a sudden you get some crazy hectic day where like you get a bunch of shit thrown at you and like you have all these meetings and you had to take this extra phone call and like now all of a sudden the day has gotten away from you, you're not able to make it to the gym or you're just too exhausted and you're like, dude, I just need to go chill. You can easily shuffle that and just move the days over and train the rest of the week, so that there's a lot more flexibility within that. So it is very convenient as far as time is concerned. And there's some examples of this is for like beginner and intermediate lifters, you can do an upper-lower program. So you can go upper A, lower B, or upper A, lower A, upper B, lower B. And this is for someone who's like kind of just getting started with lifting, maybe like starting to get into that intermediate phase and been lifting for a while. It gives you an opportunity to do a lot more volume in that week because you're doing all of your upper body and all of your lower body twice a week. And you can kind of shift the focus of each one of those days. So upper A could be chest focus, upper B could be back focus, but you do both on both days. So that's something that like beginners and intermediates could do. You could go the generic bro split route and go like chest on Monday, back on Tuesday, legs on Thursday, shoulders and arms on Friday. You could certainly do that if you're someone who doesn't need a lot of frequency in order to grow. But my typical preference for this, for someone who is like a little bit more advanced and is like trying to get on stage, that sort of thing, is a modified push-pull legs. So like if back is the main focus for us, we're going to have a pull A and a pull B, and then you're going to have a push and a leg day. Right? Or maybe your back and hamstrings need to come up. So we have a posterior day that's back, glutes, and hamstrings on Monday, a push day on Tuesday, a regular just pull day on Thursday, and then your leg day on Saturday, or flip that around like a number of different ways. So like there's a lot of options that we can move around to where like it doesn't just have to be, oh, well, we can only focus on one body part. No, your legs and your back need to come up. Cool. We can focus on that. We just have to get a little bit more creative with how we give you volume and set out the days of the week in order to make sure that by the next time you get to that next session that you're fully recovered and able to give that session the effort that it deserves. So there's a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of opportunity within a 4-day split that's not as limited as I think a lot of people tend to think it is. So this is all why I believe that a 4-day split is superior. It's not because I think it is better for like muscle growth. I certainly think that like if we get in the gym more days out of the week, we're going to be able to build more tissue, but it is superior as far as recovery is concerned. It's superior as far as freedom of your life is concerned. If you're someone who is not like your whole job isn't bodybuilding, and if you're watching this, that's probably you. You're doing this for more of a hobby. 4 days does give you much more opportunity to kind of do other things that you need to outside of just going to the gym. And this is why I have preferred it and made a lot of growth in my years of competing doing 4 days a week. Actually, I think the most progress I made as a bodybuilder when I was still competing was when I moved to a 4-day split. I think that's when I noticed the biggest jumps in my overall muscularity, density, and just ability to recover from trauma that I put on myself in a session. So hopefully you guys like this. As I said earlier, make sure you like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share this with your friends. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and look for another one of these later this week. Have a great rest of your day, y'all.